super bummed. We literally just left Moana 2 halfway through because it was so dark.
Moana 2 was so bad that I left before it was even over. The writing is horrible.
Hey fam, Gracie here once again. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that from wherever you, my people, are watching this from, you're doing alright and God has protected you and preserved you very well. And as always, to you guys that keep supporting on here, that really means a lot to me. So thank you so very much for your support, and to the members, shout out to you guys. You're doing me amazing. And those of you that want to join the membership team, yes, we do have affordable member packs that you can choose from, and you see us growing and advancing from one level to another. Thank you so very much in advance. And as always, we do have an interesting episode to look at. And oh my goodness, this is an interesting one. Moana 2 is a movie or a children's movie that was, recently released, and it's gotten a lot of people, giving their opinions, but there's a few people's opinions that really stuck out. There's this palm-colored woman and I think a palm-colored man. But specifically, the palm-colored woman said that Moana 2 is demonic and is satanic and it's dark. And then the palm-colored man was like, oh, the music is not new, it's bad, it's horrible, and the writing all off and all of that. And people have come out to literally call them out and just check them out that this movie was not specifically made for you. You are not in mind when these people were thinking of making this movie. This movie is depicting the islanders' life, culture, practices, and traditions. And it looks like whenever palm-colored people are unfamiliar with something, then they label that as demonic. We all know that has been happening for decades. We know what happened with Haka. Another person came out and called it, demonic, satanic, dark. And anything that they are unfamiliar with, they will always come out to, label it demonic. So I've gathered a lot of teachers responding to what these people were saying about this movie. It looks like islanders and black people came together, joined forces, and they're like, please, shut up. So we're going to watch this. We will definitely come back and talk about it.
We are super bummed. We literally just left Moana 2 halfway through because it was so dark. The imagery was literally so scary. Like, even for me, I was like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. But the imagery, even for me, I was like, it was making me feel uncomfortable, but I was like, just kind of letting it, the majority of halfway through the movie that I was like, I'm not doing this. And I'm a Christian who saw Wicked, and I loved Wicked, and I can make a whole nother video about that, and don't care what you guys say about that in the comments. But Moana 2, I do not recommend for, any children, to be honest, but like little children. No, especially if you are a Christian and your child is prophetic or a seer, absolutely not. It was just gross. And then there was a lot of spooky creatures. Like I told you, rain started and the sun started crying.
Moana 2 was so bad that I left before it was even over. Make no mistake, the visuals and the animation were absolutely beautiful. You can tell that a lot of the Encanto people and the people that did Lightyear were definitely in this film. I have some critiques about the design. Like, I feel like the design of Moana and Maui is very different from the design of her, like, new friends. Sorry, spoilers, guys. Her new friends and, like, some of the new villagers we see. Like, it looks very, like, Encanto Lightyear design-esque, especially with, like, some of the animation movements is extremely fast. Like, I can't tell you, like, how fast it is. Like, sometimes, like, you're not even sure what just happened or who said what because that's how fast it is. The writing is horrible. The songs are exactly the same. Every cadence is exactly the same. The songs in this movie could literally rhyme easily with the songs of the last movie. Like, it sounds like it was written by AI. The plot is completely flat, predictable, and is borderline the same plot that we already had. Like, why is Moana finding herself when she already found herself with her grandma in the last movie? Like, what was the whole point of the, who you are, we're Voyagers shit in the first movie if they were just going to do that all over again? It's the same movie. And worse, but just worse. The only interesting character was the Bat Lady. That was the only interesting character. Like, it was so boring and flat, I left.
Yeah, just because you watch a movie with imagery that makes you feel uncomfortable doesn't actually mean that it's dark or gross in nature. And using Christianity as like a measurement for why you feel the way you feel definitely alludes to the fact that you find it demonic or satanic. And as a Catholic Polynesian, I can acknowledge that there are a lot of parts of Polynesian traditions that don't necessarily align with Christian tradition. Like, for instance, tattoos are a huge part of our culture, but then obviously there are a lot of passages in the Bible that specifically say not to make markings on your skin. That's just one example, but then it doesn't mean that Polynesian culture is somehow against Christianity. There are a lot of Polynesians that are Christian now, but it was something that was introduced to us through colonization. So yes, a lot of the traditions aren't going to be packaged in this cute little Christian box that are going to be comfortable for you to digest from outside the culture. But it is incredibly ignorant to go to a movie that is specifically about another culture and then turn around and call it dark. And then to compare it to Wicked, which is a complete work of fiction, really loved it by the way, but to even make the comparison between the two movies really shows a lack of perspective. And then to say that you don't recommend it for any kids at all, like not a single other kid, maybe the kids that are getting represented, no. Your son and other kids that will experience life similarly to your son are not the only kids in the world that need to feel seen and heard and loved and represented when they watch movies. But this should have been a lesson that not everything you watch is going to feel familiar, and that's okay. No one is saying you aren't entitled to feel however you feel about the movie, but to label it as dark because you don't like it is wrong. Bye!
She says that she's a Christian woman, that not only does she celebrate Halloween, because she said that she celebrates Halloween, but she also says that she went to go see the movie Wicked. But she was offended by Moana. She went to go see a movie called Wicked. She celebrates Halloween, one of the most demonic holidays there is. As a Christian, you know? But I digress, because I'm not trying to be one of those judgmental Christians, because I'm really genuinely not. But I'm trying to make a point here. The point that I'm making is you can't tell me that you're a Christian woman, you celebrate Halloween, you went to go see a movie called Wicked, you and your children enjoyed the movie called Wicked that was highly dense in spiritism, magic, sorcery, everything wicked was involved in that movie. God was nowhere in that theater when you went to go see that movie. It was the other big guy that was in charge when you were watching that movie. It was the other big guy that put it into your heart to enjoy that movie. Just want to let you know. But here's where I get offended, because I'm a little offended by the fact that she drew the line at Moana. Now, I totally understand. It's very normal for a human being to feel very uncomfortable when they don't know much about something, especially when it comes to culture. Even for African Americans or just Africans in general, we have a lot of dense culture when it comes to magic and things like that. Like, we have a lot of dense culture in that. Same thing for Pacific Islanders. They have a lot of dense culture. A lot of it is based off of their ancestors and the love of the land and just the people in general. But see, here's the thing. When you don't have culture, you don't understand what culture is. You don't understand where these people come from and what makes them who they are today. Even Haka. I saw someone saying that Haka was demonic. Don't play about my Haka. I don't play that. Haka has to be one of the most beautiful experiences you could ever truly experience. I've been around several Haka. Tears. Back to the point that I'm trying to make is, I don't feel like it's fair for anyone to call Moana demonic if you yourself are a person that celebrates a holiday that is based off of Satan. It's his holiday that you're celebrating if you celebrate Halloween. Don't tell me you celebrate it for the kids, for the candy, to be cute. No. The holiday itself is based off of a demon, a huge demon. That's his holiday. But then you tell me you also go see movies called Wicked that is also about him, his sorcery, and what he's into. But then you get offended when people's culture is involved. At the end of the day, let's all just respect people's culture. If you say you didn't like the movie, that's fine. Hey, I didn't like the movie because of this, X, Y, and Z. But don't make it to where it's about demonic behavior until you do some research. You get what I'm saying? Because it was very offensive, not only to me, because it's not even my culture, But it was also highly offensive to all the people that are in a poly culture. It was very offensive. And it was really disrespectful because you just showed how ignorant you were if you found it to be demonic instead of being culture dense. You're welcome.
Are people okay? I've just been seeing a whole heap of Moana 2 reviews, and I'm deeply concerned. Calling a movie that is based on real world practices and cultures demonic. It's giving colonization, it's giving white settler, it's giving racism. It's also giving uneducated, and it's a real missed opportunity to learn about another culture across the world. Moana 2, obviously, the Moana series has a lot of cultural links to the Pacific. And what I loved about the movie as a Pacific Islander watching was how much representation was in this movie. I could not believe how many things that were linked back to real life practices, real life facts. For example, at the beginning of the movie, Hei finds a piece of pottery, and that's a nod back, I believe, to the lapita pottery that was used to carbon date the migration patterns of Pacific Islanders across the Pacific. Yes, there are some fictional elements, but for the vast majority, it's actually linked back to a lot of our stories, a lot of our cultural practice across Melanesian, Micronesian, Polynesian cultures. And if you knew anything about the Pacific, you would understand why saying things like it's demonic, the movie's demonic, would be fucking hurtful. It's so hurtful. This is quite literally the story of minority groups across the world. The demonization and erasure of cultures because a group of people decide to use uneducated arguments to justify their racism. Think about it. And by all means, if you don't want your children to grow up to be discerning, intelligent, functioning, worldly human beings, then don't take them to see this movie.
Some of y'all millennial parents really starting to piss me off, talking about Moana 2 is too dark and there's a lot of death and nobody should take their kids to see it because it's just too dark. Like we wasn't raised on Bambi. Like we wasn't raised on Fox and the Hound. Like we wasn't raised on The Lion King, bitch. Mufasa's death. You want to talk about a death? You want to talk about something that's going to scar you for life? Mufasa? Girl, bye. Not to mention Brave Little Toaster. Come on, somebody. Land Before Time. Girl, like, stop playing. Up. The first damn 15 minutes of Up fuck you up alone. You don't even got to see the rest of the movie. Take me on up out of the theater. We got Coco. We got all this shit and you talking about Moana 2? Baby, that's light work. We were scarred for real. Take y'all kids to see Moana 2. It ain't gonna hurt them none. Ain't gonna hurt them no more than Lion King hurt us all.
When it comes to Moana 2, if you're not Micronesian, Polynesian, Melanesian, etc., if you are not a Pacific Islander, your opinion don't motherfucking matter. At all. No, really. It does not matter, okay? Because y'all who are foreign to stories like these, it will never make sense to y'all, okay? It will never. So it really don't matter. Do y'all know this? Who be giving out these bad reviews? Exactly.
We are super bummed. We literally just left Moana 2 halfway through because it was so dark.
I need to stop acting like every Disney movie, almost every Disney movie, did not have some kind of scenes of unaliving or violence or relations between adults. For me, honestly, the only difference with Moana as a movie is that there were dark-skinned people depicted accurately. It showed actual history of Pacific Islanders, actual history of explorers, and that the explorers were not. And it's really that simple. She was sitting there talking about, oh, her kid was scared. Her kid was scared. Did your kid ever see Lion King? Did your kid ever see Wicked? Did your kid see The Wizard of Oz? The Wiz? Like, and not just Disney, but most of our childhood movies and cartoons, and even the childhood cartoons now, have some kind of violence. Avengers. And I'm sure your kid would not have a problem seeing that.
The writing is horrible. The songs are exactly the same.
People are entitled to their critiques. I'll never have anything bad to say at this point because there's not much representation on the big screen for Pacific Islanders, and representation matters. Growing up, I watched Black Americans being introduced into mainstream media as thugs, criminals, bug-eyed, jive turkeys, every kind of bad stereotype that came directly from the mind of a racist producer. So for me, also being of the Pacific Islands, Moana's not just a cartoon. It gives you something positive to think about when it comes to the people. I've seen how damaging mainstream media can be just looking at Black folks, so I appreciate Moana from that aspect. I'm glad producers aren't building on the savage, low IQ stereotype that I used to see as a kid. Those messages came from somewhere and they shaped how people thought about islanders. Y'all missed that during the election, and a lot of you even defended it. When someone his age names a Pacific Island in any context, followed by low IQ, there's a reason for that. Moana offers something different. It gives young Pacific Islanders a chance to see themselves as being heroes, leaders, and explorers, not just low IQ thugs. So when people like him critique the plot and they don't even know what they're looking at, and don't even mention how Moana discovers and connects with new cultures and new people, ones that don't look like her but share the same ocean, yet they appreciate each other peacefully, it makes me wonder what you would do if you were on the boat to discover new people. How you missed that message on Thanksgiving? So are you tripping off the graphics and the music sounds the same and talking about stuff you don't even know what you're looking at? I don't think 30-year-old men that watch cartoons was the target anyway. But that's his opinion. He's entitled to it.
The writing is horrible. The songs are exactly the same.
People are entitled to their...
So, go watch that video. Because he's spitting facts. I'm just responding to the goofball he's responding to. I can't stand you goofy fucks when y'all do this. Y'all will go see a movie and then bitch about the writing. It is a children's movie. It was not made with you in mind. That is why the writing is what it is. It was made so children can follow along with the story and know what the fuck happens. So, saying the writing sucks, you sound dumb. It is not a Avengers level type of movie. It is a children's movie about Pacific Islanders. Saying the songs were exactly the same? Yeah, once again, that shit was made for children. So it's not made with adults in mind. I really wish some of y'all would knock this shit off. And then also calling the movie woke is dumb as hell. Once again, you idiots don't know. You don't know. Every time y'all use the term woke, it usually has something to do with a black person or someone in another marginalized community. But for the most part, it's usually when it's someone who looks like me on the damn screen. And we just want y'all to know how dumb y'all look when you complain about that shit. Now, this movie is representing Pacific Islanders. And yes, there was indeed an African in the movie for all of 12 seconds. So what? It just shows that Africans also ventured out and voyaged to see new lands and meet new people. There was clear historical evidence to that fact. But I'm really getting sick and tired of all these stupid ass takes from people the movie wasn't even made for.
Hey mommies, have y'all seen that video of that lady that said she went to go see Moana 2 and took her kids and she had to hurry up and leave because it was too scary and too evil? Like, my kids grew up on Moana. Like, our first daughter, she grew up when Moana first came out. She dressed up as Moana for Halloween. We thought it was a really cute and nice family movie. And then Moana 2 came out. And sorry, spoiler alert, so you might want to leave. Like, she has a little sister and there's a big age gap. And our daughters have a big age gap. They're 13 years apart. Like, we just had a newborn. So I thought it was, like, a beautiful moment that, you know, they could share together that, oh, this movie is similar like to us and that we're of a different culture. So maybe that's why we're more open to the movie. And I like the singing in it. Some people complained about it, but I liked it. But I don't see what's evil in the movie. Like, there's things in that culture is different from my culture or other people's cultures. That's just what it is. People don't all live the same or, you know, share the same things. Like, everyone's different. So I'm not sure what's evil about it. I don't know. I thought it was a great movie. What is y'all's take on it?
I get really uncomfortable whenever a white person gives a bad review on Moana 2 because it's the same thing that happened with Bao, like that short film. White people were like, oh my god, Bao was so bad, it was so boring. It's overhyped, it's not even that good. Meanwhile, me and so many other people were fighting for our lives in the theaters, just bawling our eyes out. Now the same thing is happening with Moana 2. I was bawling my eyes out the last 10 minutes of that movie. And I went into it thinking that the movie was going to be bad because I watched so many reviews of people saying that Moana 2 was horrible. So I was ready to judge the fuck out of that movie. I was gonna be like, oh my god, yeah, this is gonna be so bad. I heard the songs aren't even that good, and I thought it was amazing. And now imagine my surprise when now there's white people on here saying that Moana 2 is demonic. Ooh, it's giving. This is like a reoccurring theme that white people always find movies boring when they can't relate to it. Like how I thought Turning Red, the Disney animated movie, was so good. White people were review bombing the fuck out of it. Like I watched Inside Out 2, and it was about like this white family, like this one, like the girl was a hockey player or whatever. I can't relate to that. You don't see me calling it a bad movie. I liked Inside Out 2, even if I couldn't relate to it. Sorry, I didn't mean to use white people too much in this or make it even like a race thing, but it's just a reoccurring thing that I've noticed. Maybe us non-white people are just used to not relating to the media, so now white people are having a frenzy when they can't relate to Moana 2. Wait, I take that back because they loved the first Moana. I don't know why they thought this one was worse. I'm assuming it's because this movie dives more into like ancestry and mythology and lore and like, I don't know. But the whole ancestry part though, oh my god, like that freaking killed me.
I just saw in a mom group that people are not taking their kids to see Moana 2 because they talk about death. You do realize in the first Moana, the grandma dies, right? Have you ever watched Bambi? Have you ever watched Big Hero 6? You do realize in every single Disney movie, someone either dies or they talk about death, right? Since the 90s. Be so for real.
We are super pumped. We literally left Moana 2 because it was so dark. Shut the hell up, you unseasoned.
People are really pressed about Moana 2, a Polynesian, Micronesian, Melanesian movie that has nothing related to you. So instead of yapping, maybe travel to these countries and learn their history so you can get some understanding before you open your mouth. Ignorance is so freaking loud, but the world is larger than your little bubble. Get out more, guys. Get out more. Or shut the Have a great day, everyone. Moana to the world.
I sourced all these stitches from TikTok, so shout out to the creators because there are really so many, so it's gonna be hard for me to pinpoint one by one and give them credit, but I do appreciate their effort. Yes, I personally haven't watched Moana 2, but I watched the first movie, right? The Moana 1. And you guys, don't judge me, but I'm here to ask a question. For those of you that have already watched the movie, what was your impression about the movie? Do you think that the first people that were saying it's demonic and the music was bad and stuff like that, do you think, they had a valid point? Or maybe they were just deflecting and, gaslighting? Because apparently, according to the movie, there was no representation of them. People that responded to this really put it really, really well, that whatever these people are not used to is going to be labeled demonic. African culture, demonic. So they had to take them Christianity and make them holy. But then their actions of, unaliving and savagery and literally plundering, that was not evil because they were doing it in the name of the Lord, right? One thing that is very, very interesting to me is how she even cites out that her child is a seer, a prophet. And that's interesting. The same person that watched Wicked. The name Wicked itself, yeah, it's literally saying something that is evil. And then you say you go ahead and watch it. And I've seen so many reviews of people that are saying Wicked really was full of racism and it was putting black people down. And she watched it and she enjoyed it. Yes, I'll bring that video. I'm gonna make it. Same person that celebrates Halloween. And the practices that are done on that day, so many movies that have witchcraft, that has lots of weird things. These people watch, and they are okay with that. But since this is Islanders, their culture. It's not reflecting the European culture, because yes, apparently we have seen how they have done that. They want to assimilate each and everyone else to their cultures. So whoever does not practice the European culture, whoever does not fit their narrative and their standard, yes, those are evil people, those are savages, those are uncivilized, those are barbaric practices. But in actual sense, they do not dedicate or put any effort in studying other people's cultures and understanding where other people are coming from. Rather, they want everyone else to be dancing at their tones and learning whatever concerns them. That's the reason as to why all that we learn about is the history that talks about them. Where is the history of other people? That goes to tell you that what they do is erase other people's cultures and history. Everything does not exist in their sight except theirs. Anything that looks different to them? No. If your hair looks different, that's not the standard. You're not human. If you have features that don't look like theirs, you're not human, you are an animal. When I bring these episodes, a lot of people will come out to say, oh, I am bringing division and stuff like that. You bring division by creating these narratives. You saying such things, even if you're saying them ignorantly, yes, you are creating a gap, because that shows that you and the people live in a totally different world, where people see their culture and traditions and practices as normal because that's their heritage. According to you, this is insanity, this is dark, and yeah, nobody should ever watch it. Because you don't like it, nobody else should watch it. So, who is creating division here? We talk about these things just to show you the discrepancies, just to show you the differences between you and the people, just to show you that you are in a wrong. You don't even care about the people that made this movie. You don't even care about offending them. Because yes, this was not about European culture. This was about the islanders. And most of the kids' movies that I've watched, honestly, they do have magic. They do have magic in there. Most of the kids' movies, most of the Disney movies, they are demonic. They do have magic in there. But then you're not attacking them because probably it has a representation of you. Yes, some people came out to, literally speak about another movie that was released because apparently a melanated person came and was representing, a fiction character that was supposed to be white. They do have a problem whenever they see a representation of someone that does not look like them. Now let's talk about the cartoon movies, all those anime, whatever. People are okay with seeing cartoons literally being sexualized. Now people can love each other. Now there's different genders and stuff, and please don't get me wrong. I'm not here to attack anybody, no. But I am saying it is okay for them to see these demonic spirits being released in their kids using Nickelodeon or something, whatever. Yes, they're fine with that and they will never ever say that. Some people that do not come out to call out the things that are the injustices and the laws that are being enforced on children, to brainwash the minds of children. Let's all agree that if it were palm-colored cartoons or whatever representation in the movie, she probably wouldn't say anything because she was okay with Wicked. They are okay with celebrating Halloween and so many celebrations like Thanksgiving. Yes, Thanksgiving is a demonic celebration, believe it or not, because they were celebrating the blood that they spilled of the natives and them capturing the land out of the hands of the natives in the Americas. And they don't have a problem with that. It's okay, right? There's so many barbaric, satanic, demonic things they celebrate and watch. But again, They're palm coloreds, and the world is supposed to be like them. They are not supposed to be like the world. That's a white supremacy tactic. But people are seeing through your BS and, trying to say, oh, I'm a Christian and stuff like that. Yeah, you're hiding under that umbrella. They always want to create an issue with something where there's no issue, right? Lots of people have come out, the islanders, the black people, they're like, no, we love the movie. And if you did not like it, it's okay. It's your opinion. But do not stop others from, watching it, right? It might not be your taste, but it is other people's taste, right? I really don't know what you guys think, but from what we have seen, it honestly gives off colonizer. Colonizer comes to your islands, brings their ways, force them on you. They want you to practice that. And if you happen to practice something differently from what they know, no, you are demonic and you are satanic and you are dark and you need to be cast out. What do you people think? Put your thoughts in the comment section. If you watched the movie, what were your impressions? Please subscribe to the channel and I'll definitely see you in another amazing video. Until then, my name is Gracie and I love you. Peace.